Hey everybody, in this tutorial we're going to talk about multi-angle sprite setups. This is how you can use sprite switching to kind of emphasize, depth on your character's face when you're rotating in a 360-degree fashion, when you're kind of simulating that 3D movement of the 360 head. I'll show you how you can switch out the sprites. In this case, we're going to focus on the nose to kind of emphasize more depth and for your facial features. Okay, so we have this character that we've used for previous tutorials. If we go to the face key editor right here, let's just take a look at our character's head rotation. You can see fine and dandy, three very nice smooth head rotation at various different angles. And let's just default key this and go right into composer mode. Okay, so if you want to add sprites to your character, you need to go into composer mode. So right here, composer. And once in composer mode, we're going to take a look at the preview of the 360 head creator. So let's just go ahead and zoom in on our character's face here and go to 360 head creator and preview. And you can see the result right here. Okay, this is what we're dealing with. But you'll notice that the nose is remaining the same size regardless of the angle of the face and the position of the other facial features. So this can be improved upon. And one way you can do this is, say for example, if we go to the right profile here, we can select the nose and we can use like a transform. We can kind of position it maybe a bit more over here. That's one way we can do it. Another way is we can combine that with deform, and we can take deform and just maybe stretch the nose out like this, something like that. Get a bridge on the nose, combine that with transform like I mentioned, and position it over that way. And then if we preview, we'll have something like this. So you'll see the nose will kind of go from here to there. And that's simulating more of a realistic depth in nose position, okay? Simulating the 3D of the nose, the 3D effect on the nose there. So you can do that. However, you can also do something where you can use sprite switching. And we'll talk about sprite switching right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and reset the transform, set deform, and reset the deform there as well. So let's talk about sprite switching to simulate this as well. So we're going to be replacing the actual sprite itself. So if I go into the sprite editor right now with this current character, and I go to the right angle profile, you can see the nose is basically the same. It's just the same sprite. If we go to the center angle profile, you'll see the same thing. Okay, and the left angle profile, you'll see the same normal right here. Okay, so all noses are the same for all these positions. We also have center left and center right. Okay, I don't really recommend using those in most cases, but you can if you want to. Okay, but we're just going to replace the left and the right nose sprites. And the way we need to do that is if we go ahead and launch this in Photoshop. Let's do that right now. Launch to external PSD editor. So keep in mind you need to have the pipeline version to do this. I'm just going to take the image scale up to 4.3, whatever. So we have two different options down here. We have talking head PSD structure. We have edit current angle or update multi-angle. And we're going to update multi-angle in a sec, but I'm just going to go ahead and explore the current angle first, just to kind of give you a bit of a background. So we'll just go ahead and launch that in Photoshop. And once it loads up in Photoshop, we'll just zoom in really quick here. And what I'm going to do is just get rid of all the bones for the body there. And under RL talking head, if we twirl that down, we can get rid of all the bones for the head as well. And notice under RL talking head, there's only one angle group. It's called center. Okay, so under center, you'll find your nose right here. And under normal, you'll find the nose sprite. Okay, the image for the nose, also known as the nose sprite. Okay, you can make that visible or invisible. And that's basically it. So, center, one single angle profile is very simple. Just have one sprite for all these different facial features. However, if you want, you can also update multiple angles. So let's go ahead and close this down. We don't need to worry about this. And there's our future noses, just for your preview there. And what I'm going to do is take this character and launch him into Photoshop one more time. Again, we'll just pump up that image scale there. And this time we're going to select Update Multi-Angle, and we'll go ahead and launch that. So what's going to happen now is there's going to be multiple angle groups under our character's RL image. Okay, so under RL talking head rather. So let's just get rid of the bones here as well. And let's zoom in on our character's face. All right. So now we have the option for center, center left, left, and right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to import different sprites in for all those different angle profile groups. So let's go ahead and do that. We have those noses already set up like I mentioned. You can see just 3 images right here, left, right, and center. I'm just going to click and drag and select all those, and we'll just bring them in, click and drag them into our image right here, our project right here rather. And if you want, you can Control T, make them a bit larger. We'll just boost up the size maybe to something like this. I want these to be like big bulbous noses, and we'll position them just something like that. Okay, and then just press enter when you're done. Okay, so we have like a guy with 3 noses basically on his face. So what we need to do is we need to place all these images in the correct folders now. So you may be able to guess that the center image will go in the center folder. It'll replace the one we had before. Okay, this normal one, we can just select it and delete it. Okay, and then we'll take our center image, click and drag that under center, nose, and into the normal folder here. And it's all correct, all in position. So for the other angle profiles, we need to do the same thing. We'll do the left one. Okay, left under nose. Okay, under normal, there's currently nothing there. So let's just take the left one and click and drag it into that folder. Okay, and it'll disappear. And I'll tell you why in just a moment here. Let's do the right one first. Under right, nose, normal. We'll throw that right image in there as well. Just like that. Okay, and so what we need to do is we need to take our center group and we need to click and drag that down below all the other groups so we can actually adjust those nose positions. Okay, and then once we've done that, let's go into left and let's make that nose visible. Now the next step here is very important in terms of positioning. What you want to do is make sure you have your head bone active again. And we have our head bone, or the bone for the nose, is this one right here where my mouse is over. If I click it, you'll see it's the nose. Under head bone, it's the nose bone. This one right here. So this is the pivot point for all the nose sprites. And they're going to be using this point here to determine where they're positioned when the sprite switch takes place. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to have all of your nose sprites focused around this, centered around this little marker here. Okay, so let's click and drag this one over here. And you can use your grid lines if you want to have everything correct like this, which is what I normally do, and just position it like that. If I get rid of the center one, let's just go ahead and twirl this up. And under center down here now, let's go and select the nose and make it invisible. You can see it's kind of in a good position. Okay, so when our nose is, when our character is facing to the side, the nose is going to be based around this position right here. Okay. And generally you want the axis of the nose to be centered right around here, okay? Which I think we're okay for that. So let's go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. Again, with the right group here, just make sure that image is enabled and click and drag it. And you can, just make sure it's kind of relatively, equal in height and everything and position. I think that looks good. Now it just looks like a character has a, huge bulbous nose. Let's just get rid of the bones for now. Okay, there we go. And let's go back into center here and make that nose visible. Okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like, believe it or not. And the last thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your center group is above the other ones. Okay, so click and drag center just up here and under head bone. Okay, and then we're good to go. And from that point on, all we have to do is go ahead and save it, file and save. And then once back in Character Creator, or Cartoon Animator 4 rather, we can go ahead and update it and give her a test. So now you'll notice that the nose is switched out. And if we go to our sprite editor, with the nose, select the sprite editor here, you can see on the right side here, the nose sprite has been switched right here. Center is this bulbous one in the middle, and the left is facing this direction. So 3 different sprites for 3 different kind of angle profiles. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it out in the 360 head creator. We'll go ahead and open up 360 head creator here and give that a quick preview. And you'll notice that it'll start switching midway through. Now, we've talked about in other tutorials how you can change the weighting for when the sprite switch will happen, but we won't cover that in this tutorial. You can see the results right here. And generally, if you do it smoothly, you won't have much trouble getting a nice smooth result like this. Okay. And if you want, you can emphasize that by adjusting the deform and position. So to the left here, we could just take that deform out a bit more, just like this. And transform, you can even position out if you want. Go up here and do a little quick deform as well. Maybe something like that. So you can barely see the eye behind it there. And again, it really depends on the sort of effect you're going for. This one I'll probably drag it out down a bit more. This transform could be positioned a little bit more further down. So ideally what you want to try and do is optimize the positioning and the deform to make the results look as realistic and nice as you can. I think up here we'll do fine. Down here, maybe just a little bit further down. Deform that. Let's use a perspective here to make it a little bit larger. There you go. And up here, again, same thing. Just make sure everything's optimized. Oh, we don't want to use perspective for that. Let's bring it out a bit more like this. And to the right. Again, you can mirror this as well, but I'm just going to do it really quickly for all the angles here. Deform it a bit more, and then down here, this one needs to be stretched out a bit. There you go. Okay, and to transform, let's position it more like this, and then give her a preview. And if you're happy with it, I think we're okay. And ideally, you want to have a nice smooth movement for your character, so you don't really notice the sprite switching as much. Okay, just like this, and down there. And there you go. And that's really all I want to show you guys in this tutorial. So thanks so much for watching. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of preview animations before we go. Go back into stage mode here. And I'm going to load up some perform animations in the content manager. Let's go to animation, perform G3360. Let's try something like this. Philip Anger. There we go. Click and drag it onto our character.
That is not what we stand for.
Okay. Maybe something a bit more positive, like Roger Positive.
Yes, sir. Pancakes coming right up.
Okay. And that's really all there is to it. So using multi-angle sprites, you can emphasize depth in certain facial features. The nose is probably the most common that you want to do this in, but other facial features as well, like prominent chins and cheeks and everything like that, you could use as well. All sorts of options for you. Just wanted to kind of show you how you can use multi-angle sprites and how you can set them up for emphasis on certain facial features. So thanks everyone so much for watching. Hopefully you learned a lot in this tutorial, and make sure you check out our forums over at forum.reallusion.com, as well as our YouTube channel and our learning center on our Cartoon Animator 4 product page. And I hope to see you in the next video.